Today we're bringing 12 Oregon legends back to life, the most haunting stories that still grip the Pacific Northwest. Number 1. Bigfoot of the Pacific Northwest. Deep in Oregon's ancient forests, where towering Douglas firs block out the sun and silence hangs heavy in the air, something massive moves between the trees. For generations, Native American tribes spoke of the Sasquatch, a giant forest guardian who watches from the shadows. But it wasn't until modern times that Oregon became ground zero for the most famous Bigfoot encounters in America. The dense wilderness of the Cascade Mountains provides the perfect hiding place for a creature that doesn't want to be found. Hikers have reported finding footprints nearly 2 feet long pressed deep into muddy trails. Others have heard bone-chilling howls echoing through the forest at night, unlike any known animal. Some have even claimed to catch glimpses of a massive, hair-covered figure disappearing behind the trees. The most compelling evidence comes from the countless testimonies of loggers, park rangers, and outdoor enthusiasts who swear they've seen something that defies explanation. They describe a creature standing 8 to 10 feet tall, with broad shoulders and an intelligence in its eyes that suggests something far more than just an animal. Whether you believe or not, Oregon's vast wilderness holds secrets that science hasn't yet uncovered. In a state where millions of acres remain unexplored, the legend of Bigfoot continues to thrive, reminding us that some mysteries are best left unsolved. Number 2. Bandage Man of Cannon Beach. Along Oregon's rugged coastline, where Highway 101 winds through misty forests toward the Pacific, drivers tell tales of a terrifying figure that still haunts the night. The Bandage Man of Cannon Beach, wrapped head to toe in bloody bandages, is said to leap onto moving cars, scratching at windows and leaving behind the smell of decay. The legend began in the 1960s when teenagers reported encounters with this ghostly figure near the coastal town. Some say he was a logger who suffered a terrible accident, his body mangled beyond recognition. Others believe he was a patient who escaped from a nearby hospital, his wounds never healing. But all agree on one thing: once you see the Bandage Man, you never forget. Witnesses describe a figure moving with impossible speed, appearing suddenly on lonely stretches of road where the forest meets the sea. Car windows have been found, scratched and bloody, with no explanation for the damage. Some drivers have reported their vehicles shaking violently as something pounds on the roof, only to find nothing there when they stop. The coastal fog that rolls in from the Pacific seems to bring him out, creating the perfect cover for his midnight appearances. Local teenagers still dare each other to drive the back roads near Cannon Beach after dark, but many who take the challenge return with stories they wish they could forget. Today, the Bandage Man remains one of Oregon's most enduring urban legends. Whether he's real or just a product of imagination, drivers along the coast still check their rearview mirrors a little more carefully when the fog rolls in. Number 3. The Shanghai Tunnels. Beneath the bustling streets of Portland lies a network of tunnels that once housed one of the most sinister operations in American history. The Shanghai Tunnels, built in the 1800s, were used to kidnap unsuspecting men and sell them to ship captains in need of crew members. Today, these underground passages are said to be filled with the restless spirits of those who never made it home. In Portland's heyday as a shipping port, men would disappear without a trace after visiting the city's many saloons and hotels. Trap doors built into floors would drop victims into the tunnels below, where they'd be held until ships were ready to depart. Many never survived the brutal journey or the harsh life at sea that followed. Modern-day visitors to the tunnels report hearing chains dragging across stone floors and voices pleading for help in the darkness. Cold spots appear suddenly, and some have felt invisible hands grabbing at their clothes. Tour guides tell of electronic equipment failing mysteriously and cameras refusing to work in certain areas of the tunnels. The most disturbing reports come from those who claim to see shadowy figures huddled in the corners, still waiting for rescue that will never come. Others have heard footsteps following behind them, only to turn and find empty tunnels stretching into blackness. These underground passages remain a chilling reminder of Portland's dark past. The spirits trapped within seem to be trying to tell their stories, ensuring that the horrors of the Shanghai Tunnels are never forgotten. Number 4. The Oregon Vortex and House of Mystery. In the Rogue River Valley, where the Siskiyou Mountains create natural wonders beyond explanation, stands a place that defies the laws of physics. The Oregon Vortex and House of Mystery has been baffling visitors since 1930. But its strange powers may have much older origins. Native American tribes once considered this area forbidden ground, warning that evil spirits dwelt here, and that the land itself was cursed. They spoke of a place where the natural order was turned upside down, where nothing behaved as it should. Today, visitors experience phenomena that science struggles to explain. People appear to change height depending on where they stand. Balls roll uphill, and brooms balance on their bristles without support. Some leave feeling dizzy and disoriented, as if the very ground beneath their feet has shifted reality itself. But beyond the optical illusions, there are darker stories. Visitors report feeling an overwhelming sense of dread in certain areas, as if unseen forces are watching them. Some have experienced nausea and headaches that disappear the moment they leave the property. The house itself seems to amplify these strange effects. Built on the spot where Native Americans said the spiritual world was closest to our own, it tilts at impossible angles that seem to change depending on your perspective. Photography often produces unexplained results, with images showing things that weren't visible to the naked eye. Whether it's supernatural forces or natural phenomena beyond our understanding, the Oregon Vortex continues to challenge everything we think we know about reality. In a world of scientific certainty, it stands as proof that some mysteries remain unsolved. Number 5. Crater Lake Monster. Nearly 2,000 feet deep and formed by an ancient volcanic collapse, Crater Lake holds secrets in its impossibly blue waters. Native American legends speak of a great battle between the spirits of the mountain and the underworld, leaving behind a lake so deep that it touches the realm of the dead. But according to some, something else was left behind as well. For over a century, visitors have reported seeing something massive moving beneath the lake's surface. Described as serpentine and enormous, the creature is said to create waves without wind and ripples that follow no natural pattern. Some witnesses describe a creature with multiple humps, breaking the surface before disappearing into the depths. The lake's incredible depth makes it nearly impossible to explore fully, creating the perfect hiding place for something that doesn't want to be found. The water is so deep and cold that very little life can survive in its depths, yet something seems to call this alien environment home. Native American tribes have long warned that the lake should be approached with respect, as powerful spirits dwell within its waters. They tell stories of people who disappeared after venturing too close to the water's edge, pulled down by forces beneath the surface. Modern sonar equipment has detected large moving objects in the lake's deepest areas, but nothing has ever been definitively identified. Park rangers occasionally receive reports from visitors who swear they've seen something that shouldn't exist, something that turns Oregon's most beautiful lake into its most mysterious. With its pristine wilderness setting and ancient spiritual significance, Crater Lake remains a place where the natural and supernatural worlds seem to meet. Whether the monster is real or simply a reflection of our deepest fears, it continues to guard the secrets of Oregon's deepest waters. Number 6. The Witch's Castle. Hidden deep in Portland's Forest Park, the ruins of an old stone structure have earned the ominous name of the Witch's Castle. Built in the 1950s as a park restroom facility, it was abandoned after years of vandalism and strange occurrences. But locals say its reputation for being cursed began long before it was ever built. The forest surrounding the ruins has always felt different to those who venture there. Trees grow in twisted patterns, and an unnatural silence seems to muffle all sound. Hikers report getting lost on familiar trails, as if the forest itself is trying to lead them astray. Those who visit the ruins after dark tell of seeing strange lights flickering in the empty windows and hearing chanting echoing through the stone walls. Some have reported feeling an overwhelming sense of dread that forces them to flee, while others describe being watched by unseen eyes from within the forest. The structure's crumbling walls are covered in graffiti, some of it depicting occult symbols that seem to change between visits. Visitors have found evidence of recent rituals, including burned candles, strange drawings, and offerings left among the ruins. Park rangers avoid the area when possible, and those who do patrol there report equipment malfunctions and an eerie feeling that something is following them. Some have seen shadowy figures moving between the trees, always just at the edge of their vision. Whether cursed by supernatural forces or simply tainted by years of dark rumors and occult activity, the witch's castle continues to draw those seeking a brush with the unknown. In Portland's urban wilderness, it stands as a reminder that some places are better left undisturbed. Number 7. The Heceta Head Lighthouse Ghost. Perched on Oregon's dramatic coastline, where waves crash against towering cliffs and fog rolls in from the endless Pacific, Heceta Head Lighthouse has guided ships safely to shore since 1894. But according to lighthouse keepers and visitors, it also shelters a spirit who refuses to leave. Her name is Rue, and she's said to be a woman in Victorian dress who died tragically while living at the lighthouse. Some believe she was the wife of a former keeper who fell from the cliffs during a storm. Others say she was a woman waiting for her sailor love to return from the sea, a wait that continues even in death. Keepers have reported seeing her figure moving through the lighthouse at night, always wearing the same flowing dress from a bygone era. She's been spotted in the lens room, tending to duties she performed in life, making sure the light never fails to warn ships of the dangerous rocks below. Strange things happen when Rue is near. The lighthouse's automated systems malfunction for no reason, and the light has been known to operate when it should be off. Visitors staying in the lighthouse keeper's house report finding windows opened that were securely closed, and the sound of footsteps in the attic when no one is there. She seems particularly protective of the lighthouse, appearing most often during storms when ships are in greatest danger. Some sailors passing by have reported seeing a woman's figure in the lighthouse windows, waving them away from the treacherous coastline. Despite her ghostly nature, those who encounter Rue describe a sense of peace rather than fear. She's a guardian spirit, watching over both the lighthouse and the ships that depend on its warning light. In the wild beauty of the Oregon coast, she remains a beacon of hope, even in death. Number 8. The McMenamins Edgefield Spirits. What was once the Multnomah County Poor Farm, a place of desperation and hardship, has been transformed into the sprawling McMenamins Edgefield Resort. But the ghosts of its troubled past refuse to be renovated away, creating one of Oregon's most actively haunted locations. From 1911 to 1982, the poor farm housed thousands of society's forgotten souls. The elderly, the mentally ill, and the destitute lived out their final days in conditions that were often harsh and unforgiving. Many died alone and forgotten, buried in unmarked graves on the property. Today's guests report encounters that seem to echo the pain and loneliness of the farm's former residents. Shadowy figures drift through hallways, and voices call out from empty rooms. Some visitors have been touched by invisible hands or felt the weight of someone sitting on their bed in the middle of the night. The Black Rabbit restaurant, built over the farm's former hospital, is particularly active. Staff report dishes moving on their own, lights flickering without cause, and the feeling of being watched while working alone. Some have seen an elderly man in outdated hospital clothing wandering the dining room after hours. Room 215 in the main building is known for its persistent paranormal activity. Guests frequently request to be moved after experiencing unexplained cold spots, doors opening by themselves, and the sound of crying echoing through the walls. Despite the ghostly encounters, the spirits at Edgefield seem more sad than threatening, as if they're simply seeking acknowledgement after decades of being forgotten. The McMenamins Company has embraced the haunted history, featuring ghost tours and encouraging guests to share their supernatural experiences. In transforming a place of sorrow into one of celebration, Edgefield has given its restless spirits a chance to be remembered. They no longer die in anonymity, but live on as part of Oregon's most haunted hotel. Number 9. Malheur Butte Witch Legends. Rising alone from Oregon's high desert, Malheur Butte has been associated with dark magic and witchcraft for generations. This solitary volcanic formation, standing like an ancient monument against the endless sky, was avoided by Native American tribes who considered it a place where evil spirits gathered. Local ranchers and settlers continued the superstitions, reporting strange lights dancing around the Butte's summit on moonless nights and unexplained sounds that echoed across the desert. Some claimed to have seen figures moving on the rocky slopes, performing rituals by firelight. In the early 1900s, stories spread of a witch who made her home somewhere on the Butte, emerging only to cast curses on those who wronged her. Livestock would sicken for no reason, crops would fail mysteriously, and people would fall ill after venturing too close to the formation. Even today, the Butte maintains its eerie reputation. Visitors report feeling an overwhelming sense of dread when approaching its base, and some have experienced equipment failures and unexplained phenomena. Cameras malfunction, compasses spin wildly, and electronic devices drain their batteries in minutes. The wind around Malheur Butte seems to carry voices, whispering in languages that no one can identify. On clear nights, some have seen lights moving across its rocky face, too bright and too purposeful to be natural. Whether cursed by ancient spirits or simply shaped by centuries of fearful superstition, Malheur Butte continues to stand as a monument to Oregon's darker folklore. In the vast emptiness of the high desert, it serves as a reminder that some places are meant to be left alone. Number 10. The Flavel House Ghosts. In the historic port city of Astoria, where the Columbia River meets the Pacific Ocean, stands a Victorian mansion that has become synonymous with ghostly encounters. The Flavel House, built in 1885 by Captain George Flavel, a wealthy shipping magnate, has been home to spirits that seem as permanent as its ornate woodwork and period furnishings. The Flavel family dominated Astoria's shipping industry for decades, but their success came with a price. Captain George was known for his ruthless business practices, and some say his spirit still roams the house, unwilling to give up control even in death. Visitors and staff regularly report seeing a man in Victorian-era clothing standing in the music room or walking the halls with the bearing of someone who owns the place. Doors open and close on their own, and the sound of footsteps echoes from empty rooms above. But Captain Flavel isn't the only spirit calling the mansion home. His wife, Mary, has been seen in her former bedroom, still tending to domestic duties. The scent of her perfume sometimes fills the air without explanation, and visitors have reported feeling watched by a maternal presence. The most unsettling encounters involve the Flavel children, who died young and seem to continue playing in the house where they once lived. Their laughter echoes through the halls, Toys are found, moved from their display cases, and some visitors have seen small figures darting between rooms. The house's period rooms are kept exactly as they were during the family's residence, and the ghosts seem to appreciate the preservation of their world. They interact most with visitors who show respect for the home's history, appearing to those who understand they are guests in a place where the past never truly ended. Today, the Flavel House operates as a museum, sharing both its maritime history and its supernatural legacy. In a city built on the dreams and tragedies of those who made their living from the sea, it stands as a reminder that some stories never end. Number 11. The Van Duzer Corridor Haunting. State Route 18, known as the Van Duzer Corridor, cuts through Oregon's Coast Range like a ribbon through dark forest. This scenic highway connects the Willamette Valley to the coast, but drivers who travel it at night often encounter more than just beautiful scenery. For decades, motorists have reported picking up hitchhikers along this stretch of road, only to have them vanish from their vehicles without explanation. The phantom passengers appear real enough, often carrying on normal conversations before disappearing, leaving behind only the lingering scent of decay or the chill of unnatural cold. The corridor has seen its share of fatal accidents over the years, and many believe the spirits of those who died there continue to seek rides they'll never complete. Some drivers report seeing figures standing on the roadside in their headlights, only to find nothing there when they pass. The forest on either side of the highway seems to press in closer at night, creating an atmosphere of isolation and unease. Radio signals fade to static, cell phones lose reception, and some drivers report their vehicles experiencing mechanical problems that disappear once they leave the corridor. Local law enforcement has received numerous reports of ghostly encounters, but officers who patrol the area have learned to treat such calls as part of the territory. Some admit to their own unexplained experiences while working the night shift along the lonely highway. The most common sighting is that of a young woman in a white dress, standing near the site of a fatal accident from decades past. Those who stop to help find, she vanishes the moment they approach, leaving them questioning what they saw. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the Van Duzer corridor carries an undeniable weight of tragedy and mystery. As you drive through its dark forests, you might find yourself checking your mirrors more often and hoping your journey ends with all passengers accounted for. Number 12. The Tillamook Rock Lighthouse. A mile off the Oregon coast, battered by Pacific storms and surrounded by treacherous waters, stands one of the most isolated and cursed lighthouses in America. Tillamook Rock Lighthouse, known to locals as Terrible Tilly, was built in 1881, under conditions so dangerous that construction workers called it a suicide mission. From the beginning, the lighthouse seemed cursed. During construction, a master mason was swept away by a massive wave, and his body was never recovered. This was just the first of many tragedies that would plague the isolated outpost. Lighthouse keepers faced months of isolation, cut off from the mainland by some of the most violent seas on the West Coast. Waves regularly crashed over the 130-foot-tall structure, and storms could last for weeks. The psychological toll was enormous, and several keepers suffered mental breakdowns or mysterious disappearances. Those who served at Terrible Tilly reported hearing voices in the storm winds and seeing figures moving through the lighthouse when they knew they were alone. Some spoke of a presence that watched them constantly, growing stronger during the worst storms. The lighthouse was decommissioned in 1957, but its reputation for being haunted only grew. Boat captains passing the rock report, seeing lights in the abandoned structure and figures moving behind the boarded windows. Some have heard the foghorn sounding when no one is there to operate it. Today, Tillamook Rock Lighthouse stands empty and decaying, slowly being reclaimed by the sea that has always been its enemy. But those who know its history say it's not truly abandoned. The spirits of those who lived and died in its isolation continue their eternal watch, forever trapped on their rocky prison. In the wild beauty of the Oregon coast, terrible Tilly serves as a monument to human endurance and the price of battling nature's fury. Whether haunted by ghosts or simply by the weight of its tragic history, it remains one of Oregon's most mysterious and foreboding landmarks. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.